Good morning. Happy Monday, friends. Wait for a couple of you to pop on here. I hope you had a great weekend. It is snowing, sleeting, raining, hailing, doing a wintry mix today all day. Good day to snuggle in if you can. I'm at work early and will stay all day and let this play out and drive home as safe as possible. But good news, could be our last snowstorm of the year. And of course, maybe I brought it on with my jinxing of putting out my Easter bunny a little too early. So out on the front porch went my Easter rabbit. So maybe I brought on this crap. Sorry. Okay. So last week, I spent some time talking to some young women about boundaries with their peers. So there are times that we get stressed and anxious and burned out, and sometimes it's because we're not respecting our own boundaries. People don't mean to, but they do take advantage of you, especially if you're not willing to know what your boundaries are or hold them firmly in place when it comes to other people. So these young women, me uplifting them made me want to share this today on Motivational Monday. I think as women, we don't know our boundaries, for one, or we're just not good at holding them in place. So I'm gonna work on that with you today. I found a great article from thedailypositive.com, that really did a good job of explaining boundaries and how to keep them. So I'm going to share that with you today so that you don't get stressed, anxious, and burned out. Here we go. Are you ready? Snuggle in. I got a couple of pages to read to you. So we're going to craft what we will allow and won't allow. And that is my word of 2021, allow. What will I allow in my life and what will I not? So before we dive into the types of boundaries that might be helpful, let's cover a few basics about what boundaries are. Boundaries are the rules you set for yourself about what is acceptable to you and what isn't acceptable to you. Boundaries are about caring for yourself, not about controlling others. Boundaries which are healthy and important for you personally will always be for the greater good for everyone involved, even if other people affected by those boundaries don't see it that way. Boundaries provide a foundation for any type of relationship to thrive. Let's see. You can know your boundaries, but you don't always have to communicate every boundary to every person. There may be times you use your boundaries as a way to know when to walk away, when to say no, when to remove someone from your life. Good morning. There may be times when you use your boundaries to communicate with someone, to set expectations, and to resolve a problem. Good morning, Lorelei. Boundaries only work if you know what your values are and boundaries are, and if you live by those, act on them, and when necessary, communicate them clearly to other people. A key part of having boundaries work for you is not just communicating those boundaries to other people before or after they cross those boundaries, but importantly about what you choose to do if someone ignores your boundaries once or repeatedly. Boundaries can support various aspects of your well-being and your life. For example, you can have boundaries about your time and resources, boundaries that support you physically, boundaries about your mental and emotional wellness, and more. Anything that acknowledges, honors, and supports your highest good by drawing a line about what is or isn't acceptable could be termed a boundary. If your boundaries honor and support you and someone else doesn't like that, it's their problem, not yours. Notice how you feel if other people challenge or push your boundaries. Does it make you question yourself? If you've tended to be a people pleaser or you haven't valued yourself highly enough, then setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable. But always remember you have your boundaries for a reason, and anyone worth having in your life will at least be willing to listen and respect your choices. With all that said, let's cover 3 boundaries that can support and uplift women. Do you agree so far? I certainly do. And if I can get young women to know their boundaries and hold their boundaries, they won't have to suffer like some of us have through life, pleasing people and getting stressed and anxious and burnt out because we let people push across the line for us, making us uncomfortable, or maybe we just didn't know what we would and wouldn't accept in our lives. So let's do some journaling on that, girls. All right, number 1, physical boundaries. You, my dear, good morning, Terry. You, my dear Terry, are precious in every way. Your soul, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your mind, your creativity, your intelligence, your heart, and your body. The physical aspect of who you are is sacred, and you alone get to choose what your body boundaries are. Whatever boundaries you set for your physical body need to align to your values in a way that supports and uplifts your self-worth, self-confidence, and self-esteem. Remember, anyone worthy of you, anyone you would want to have in your life will see your boundary or hear you express your boundary and will honor you for it. Anyone who doesn't get it can keep on moving. Bye. I can be really sassy, can you tell? Number 2, time boundaries. Your time is valuable. A key boundary in life to respect ourselves and other people is how we value time. Let's look at time-related boundaries and how these might serve you. No one wants to be kept waiting. If you agree to meet someone and they keep you waiting, it's not a great sign. There may well be instances where someone being late is unavoidable, but repeated instances of someone forgetting to be on time, not being organized enough to be on time, or simply just not caring and not even realizing they aren't on time, that calls for boundary setting and clear communication. Not replying to messages and leaving you waiting. Time is valuable, and respect for self and others includes replying to messages in a timely way. This allows people the space to plan their time, days, lives, and know where they stand. If someone doesn't reply to your messages and doesn't communicate in a reasonable way, leaving you unsure where you stand or in a difficult position, unable to make plans, that isn't ideal. You deserve to have clarity. And number 3, emotional boundaries. Your emotions are not to be messed with. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're at, whether you're single, married, or not, every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect as a human being. People who do not treat you with foundational respect don't deserve to be in your space. It's important to know what you will and won't accept when it comes to how people treat you, speak to you, what words they use, and what you won't put up with. This will make it easier to clearly identify people that are not value aligned for you, and equally easy to identify the ones who are. So again, you are a valued human. And people who don't respect your boundaries, or if you don't know your boundaries, it's a time to take to put those in place, to explore who you are and what you will and will not accept. And it is okay to stand by those and share those when necessary. In the comments, I am going to put 3 things for you that a physical boundary, a time boundary, and an emotional boundary of mine. I'm going to share mine with you. I'm going to be very vulnerable in the comments. And I welcome you to do the same. Together, we have it all. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. So to empower and uplift other women, and my focus last week was on young women and their peers and their relationships there. If we could help out in the comments with our own boundaries, sharing those if you feel comfortable, your physical boundary, time boundary, emotional boundary, it would be so helpful and it would just melt my heart. I'm going to put mine there right after I click off of here. I agree, Lorelei. Lorelei is a school teacher, and she says time management and organizational boundaries are things that need to be taught at a young age. That's so true. I do not have time for people that don't respect my time. My life for 20 years has run by the clock, and people that are late and don't communicate with me, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm kind of a one and done. I don't give a lot of second chances. That's my boundary. My time is precious, and if you stand me up or run me late, it affects other people. I'm not okay with that. So it's good to learn at a young age. It will help them in school and college and employment as well. Thank you, Lorelei, for sharing that. Okay, guys, I'm going to hop off, but please go ahead and put that information in the comments. I would love it if you could share this on your wall for me today. Let's get a movement going. Let's get a conversation going, and let's have a great week. Thanks for being here.